Hey everybody, so glad you are with us today. And like every Wednesday, one of the great people that I love to talk to all the time about different topics, different stuff going on, and actually just being able to just talk about life in general. Robert Cook's with us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's good to see you again. It's been nice. We used to see each other once a month. Now we see each other every week, and now I feel like I'm getting to know you even a little bit more. So it's always a cool thing.
Yep, it's like we're family now.
Yeah. And family love to hang out with each other. We haven't gotten that family fight yet, so we'll see how that one goes. But besides that, I'm glad we're doing quite well.
Yeah, same here, man.
Because family can fight, right? Family can fight. They still love each other. It's all right.
Yep, absolutely. Just know when to run. You know what I mean? Know when to.
There you go. Nicely done. Now, I'm excited about today's topic because it's sort of, I don't know, it's off of a book I think I read that we were starting about, and I read a few pages and, continued to read it or whatever. Oh, yeah, it's this book that you wrote, Regenerate. And so we're going to just dig through it a little bit. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I figured we'd start in the beginning because Regenerate is an 8-week devotional. It's a foundational builder that you can build upon. Each book after is going to build upon it. And so with Regenerate, I started with what I thought was the most important thing. And unfortunately, it's titled The Truth About Porn. And, because we're, as my book says, it's a sexidemic. It's an epidemic that's just really taken this nation, tearing the fiber apart of families and teens and everything. And so that's the first topic I deal with in the book, and I think that's how we should kick off this series.
I do find it because you did write that it is an epidemic, and that there's many issues and how people become numb to it. What have you seen dealing with teens and different people?
Well, first of all, what I see in society as a whole, and what we talked about earlier today, is the desensitization of pornographic images. Just like we were talking about, you pick up a skateboard magazine that's geared towards teens, and every ad has like a topless girl holding up a skateboard to hide, her silicone implants or something like that. Or even in, like, I saw in a magazine for guitars, they got these models with no tops on holding up guitars that are blocking their breasts and everything like that. And you see thousands and thousands of images, in movies and magazines and ads and everything. And by the time you're a teenager, you've literally seen hundreds of thousands of these images, and it's normal, or at least they want you to believe that this is the normal way things are. Sex sells. How many times have we heard that? And so that's the epidemic I see that has really grabbed the hold of the youth of this nation, and it's just caused many problems all the way into adulthood.
Well, I love what you said, because it isn't just youth. It's really grabbed hold of the youth, but it can be anyone. But it's also, when you hear porn, people just say, "Oh, it's just guys dealing with it." It's guys, girls, young, old. It's infecting all of us. Correct?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is like, you would think, and I do play the role of a pastor when I'm working with teens, because that's what I am. And you would think that they would be afraid to tell a pastor that they watch porn, but they've been so desensitized that they talk about it and they tell me they're doing it, and sometimes they laugh about the whole thing that they're doing, And I'm like, man, they're not even ashamed sometimes to tell people about it. And then there's the other spectrum of things, like you get desensitized to all these images we talked about that you see in magazines and everything, and then your parents get you a cell phone that you have access to porn 24/7. But usually you view it when you're in hiding, in secret. And the reason that you do that is because something in you, even though you've been kind of desensitized, something in you screams that it's wrong, and you just feel, hey, if nobody knows I'm doing it, then I'm okay, and that's even adults in churches and everything are struggling with that, where, they'll be viewing porn on Saturday night, sitting in church on Sunday, and not really feeling like there's anything wrong with it because you've seen it so much. And that's the big issue. And I'm like, God knows, it doesn't matter, if people don't know what you're doing. God knows your heart. And in Matthew, he says, you have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Now, if you're looking at pornographic magazines and porn videos on your phone and everything like that, you're committing adultery, and that's a sin in God's eyes. You don't have to be physically, involved in a sexual act with someone else. Just viewing it is adultery, and the young people need to realize that.
And I want to talk there a little bit because so many times I do feel that there's a difference between, okay, this image came up, or you walk by and there's this temptation. There is that temptation, and I do think there's a chance for you to escape that temptation. Just because you walk by and that you see that, I believe, am I on the right path? That God could still give you that out? There is still freedom in that, and that you can still walk away?
God always provides a way out in temptation. Of course we're going to be tempted. The devil is going to find whatever he can to get it in there to separate us from God. And I say, you know what, the first look, and I mean, let me explain this. The first look is free, okay? The second look is when you have a problem. Because you might glance over and see something, you look away. If you look back, that's where Satan's got you. And then you start thinking of things, and you can't unsee that. Once you watch a video or look at a magazine, it's in your mind. You could be trying to go to sleep at night and the image is there, So I say, if you see something, look away and say, hey, God, please help me. Give me strength not to look again, And then you have that choice. Are you going to take that second look? And once you get that little piece, it says it leads to action. And then when you act upon that act, it can lead to death, a spiritual death and separation from God.
Definitely. And just being honest, it's easy to turn to that second look. It's easy as humans, as sinful people, as people, even when you are close to God, that temptation is real. It's not that it's just fake. It's a temptation to get you off course. And we've all struggled, and we all struggle in different temptations, but this is just one that is really gripping our culture right now.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I'm trying to look up the verse right now. You also had another great verse that dealt with just what so many people deal with, and I'm trying to find it right now. It was so good because it was. Is it the 1 Thessalonians 4:3-8?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do you have that verse? Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. Well, if I can just give a little backdrop on it, it'd be like, if your friend is, chewing gum and you look at him and you're like, hey, can I get a piece? And he takes the gum out of his mouth and hands it to you. Is that what you want? You want his gum that he's already been chewing on?
No.
Right.
No.
You want a fresh pack of gum, first of all. You want a fresh piece. And so when we're having like friends with benefits, I hear it all the time from young people. They're doing all kinds of things with their friends at school, and they're not even dating them. They're just like, oh, well, we're not actually having sex. We're doing this or that. And they're talking about what they're doing, and they think it's okay. Or some of them are even just having sex with whoever. It's cool. It's a thing to do and everything. And if you're not having sex, they think that, well, there's something wrong with you. And so what I talk about this verse in the Bible is it says, it is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality, that each of you should learn to control your own body in a way that is holy and honorable, not in passionate lust like the pagans who do not know God, and that in this matter no one should wrong or take advantage of a brother or sister. The Lord will punish all those who commit such sins. As we told you and warned you before, God did not call us to be impure, but to live a holy life. Therefore, anyone who rejects this instruction does not reject a human being, but God, the very God who gives you his Holy Spirit. And I'm like, you know what? Be a fresh pack of gum on your wedding night. When you get married, do you want to marry somebody who has slept with, half the high school? And then you have to ask yourself, the girl that's standing next to you on the altar, does she want to marry someone who has slept with 30 or 40 girls in high school? Nobody wants that. And we got to think of the future. And not are we just harming our future spouse, but it says right here that we're harming the Holy Spirit, who lives in us, and we're supposed to, refrain from that kind of lifestyle.
This is just good stuff. We're going to have to take a quick break, but there's going to be more to come. One is can we get through this? And there's also the questions of, oh, well, it's my body. Well, is it really your body? So much more to come. So make sure you stick around. Here's a Super Chick with the song, and we will be right back to finish up with Robert Cook.